I didn't hear the machine first. I heard the wood. A deep, violent crack echoed across Lighthouse Cove, rolling over the still morning water like something alive had just been broken. It wasn't the sound of maintenance. It wasn't construction. It was destruction. By the time my brain processed the sound, my body was already moving, running toward the marina with a rising sense of dread. I couldn't yet explain. Then I saw it. An excavator, its steel arms suspended above my Catalina 38. For one impossible moment, the world felt frozen. Then the machine moved. Hydraulic jaws slammed downward with mechanical indifference, tearing into polished wood and fiberglass with brutal precision. The boat wasn't being removed. It was being executed. The marina was silent. Dozens of residents stood motionless along the docks, watching the violence unfold. No shouting, no intervention, only stunned disbelief. Because everyone knew exactly who had ordered this. Karen Piton, HOA President, self-appointed, guardian of standards, she believed governed everything in sight. 3 years of restoration work disappeared beneath steel teeth in seconds. Every repair, every weekend, every quiet hour spent rebuilding something grief had hollowed inside me, reduced to wreckage drifting across Lighthouse Cove. But Catalina 38 had never been just a boat. After my wife passed away, silence became unbearable. Not loud silence, but the heavy, permanent quiet that fills empty rooms and lingers in ordinary moments. Grief is not dramatic. Grief is quiet. The boat gave that silence somewhere to go. Wood demanded focus. Focus quieted. Memory, quieting memory, made survival possible. Each restored plank felt like reclaiming something from chaos. And Karen Piton decided it was an eyesore. The excavator struck again. A brutal metallic crunch reverberated across the harbor. Structural ribs snapped beneath hydraulic force. The hull folded inward. Splintered fragments plunged into the water. The sound hit me like impact, like watching something sacred being dismantled by a force utterly indifferent to meaning. Then Karen arrived. Of course she did. Karen Piton never missed an audience. She walked along the dock with absolute certainty, chin lifted, shoulders squared, sunglasses concealing eyes that showed no hesitation, only satisfaction. Feeling better now, Garrett? Her voice carried calmly across the water. Got casual. Almost amused. Residents turned toward me instinctively, waiting for rage, for confrontation, for the reaction Karen expected. But grief produces strange responses. I didn't shout. I smiled. Thank you for asking, Karen. Her confident stance shifted just slightly. I'm doing just fine. For the first time, Karen hesitated, because calm unsettles those who feed on visible damage. 3 weeks earlier, buried inside my late Uncle Robert's study, I discovered something Karen Piton could never have imagined. A thick manila folder hidden beneath decades of meticulously labeled maritime records. Lighthouse Cove, Marina Corporation. Inside were documents that rewrote reality. Incorporation papers. Stock certificates. Legal diagrams. Water rights filings. Then Robert's handwritten note. Garrett, you own most of the water they're standing on. My pulse accelerated as comprehension replaced disbelief. 67% ownership. Corporate water jurisdiction. Authority over docks, slips, marino operations. Karen Piton's empire. Legally non-existent. Karen's greatest strength had always been confidence. Karen's greatest weakness was believing confidence created legitimacy. For 3 years, Karen weaponized certainty violation, notices, fines, inspections, each delivered with unwavering authority. Most residents lacked the legal expertise or a psychological appetite to challenge her. Humans prefer the path of least resistance. Compliance feels safer than conflict. Karen thrived inside that illusion, until reality intervened. Most people misunderstand patience. They mistake silence for weakness. But Karen Piton did not retreat when challenged. She escalated. Escalation produces mistakes. Mistakes produce consequences. So instead of confronting Karen immediately, I waited, observed, documented, allowed inevitability to unfold. Violation notices. Multiplied fines appeared without legal basis. Officials were dragged into imaginary safety complaints. Every rejection strengthened the pattern. Every overreach created evidence. Karen believed she was tightening control. She was accelerating collapse. While I was out of town, Karen made her move. A demolition crew arrived at dawn. No permits, no legal authority, only Karen's absolute certainty. By noon, my Catalina 38 was splinters. When I returned, the harbor smelled of diesel and oil. Fiberglass fragments drifted across the water like broken memories refusing to sink. Karen waved from her deck. emergency action. But destruction is rarely the end. Sometimes it is merely the beginning of consequences. Police reports followed. Swiftly. Insurance investigators confirmed. Seaworthiness. The demolition company admitted procedural violations. Then reality delivered its masterpiece. Twist. Environmental officers inspected Karen's property, unpermitted dock modifications, illegal runoff, protected waters violations. Karen Patun, defender of property values, became the subject of massive regulatory penalties triggered entirely by her own actions. Reality has a brutal sense of irony. The emergency meeting was packed. Karen entered confidently. Still smiling. Still convinced, perception favored her. Until I stepped forward holding Uncle Robert's folder. There's been some confusion about who governs Lighthouse Cove, Marina. Silence filled the room. You're looking at the majority owner. Karen's world visibly fractured. BKARE. ASBA is not volume. Authority is law. Structure. Reality. Karen. Piton believed authority existed because she declared it. Reality disagreed. Illusions collapse the moment they collide with truth. Real authority is instructional. Invisible. Indifferent to performance. Weeks later. Lighthouse Cove transformed. Fear evaporated. Voices softened. Laughter returned. The marina reclaimed its natural rhythm, wind, rope, waves, life. One evening, as sunset ignited the harbor in molten gold, Pete Torino leaned beside me. Never seen karma hit that hard? I smiled quietly. It wasn't karma. The waves rolled gently against the docks, calm and eternal. It was reality. Because reality doesn't argue. Reality doesn't shout. Reality simply waits until illusion collapses under its own weight. And the water? The water always reveals what is real. Game over.